You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, I'm always talking to you guys about agenda in the WNBA, particularly when it comes to a coach of the Indiana Fever, Stephanie White. And, well, some more comments have come out by way of this interview she had with Sue Bird, and it's laced with, well, it's laced with the agenda, the very agenda I keep talking about. You see, the WNBA does not appreciate actual regular sports fans coming into their league, and yeah, regular sports fans are probably going to push back on your political agenda, your social agendas, all these kind of things. Sports fans don't need to see it. They don't want to see it. Fact is, they tune into a basketball league for the basketball. And I will give Adam Silver some credit, even though he did it to begin with, but all leagues did. Adam Silver, a couple of years ago, came out before the season on a Good Morning America interview and said, we're not getting into politics anymore. We won't be putting any more logos on the courts, none of that kind of thing, because, well, their ratings tanked after the entire BLM fiasco and all that sort of thing. Well, we know the WNBA, they can't get past their political agendas, and it looks like neither can Stephanie White. Now, my issue with this is, if you're a regular sports fan, you're now toxic because you don't want to hear about their political agendas and their causes. All right? We're not talking about they're getting behind we're trying to cure cancer. No. We're trying to keep it normalized for sports players to continue having romantic relationships that literally conflict in between opposing teams. Which, by the way, because of gambling, is shocking. There's gambling on WNBA games, props, etc. You got players in the league that are having romantic relationships with each other. We've never brought that up. But if you look at gambling and you look at that, that is a huge problem. That is a huge problem. That's always the current concern with Stephanie White and a lot of these people involved with this league. Are you truly making basketball decisions when it comes to who's on your team, who's getting playing time, all this sort of thing? Because I don't know that I necessarily believe that I don't believe, because they're so ate up with the causes and the message, I don't think they can separate the two. And that's a problem, as far as I'm concerned. It's a problem that deserves to be continuously called out. The WNBA is experiencing massive growth period over the past couple of years is undoubtedly a good thing. In fact, there's a case to be made. It could not have come at a better time for the league, given that the Players Association is currently in negotiations with the WNBA league office for the next CBA. It should be noted. Do you believe that Adam Silver could have parlayed the media rights deal into a $2.2 billion deal without all these toxic regular sports fans that showed up? Of course not. Of course not. These fans bumped your ratings into places that they've never even sniffed before, nor would you be sniffing now. I mean, we saw the ratings tank when Caitlin Clark got hurt. If women's basketball hadn't experienced this boom in popularity, which is largely owed to players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Beckers entering the WNBA and thriving, it's hard to imagine the WNBA players would get the vastly increased salaries they're going to receive as part of a ratified CBA, or at least their salaries wouldn't increase to the same degree. Let me clean that up for you. Which is largely owed to players like Caitlin Clark. Period. Full stop. Full stop. Come on, stop that. Stop with this ridiculousness. But this attention on women's basketball isn't wholly positive. With so many fans flocking to the sport, this has brought a lot of negativity among select players, especially on social media. Much of the discourse around teams, players, and rivalries breeds a lot of nastiness and tribalism on social media that players are thrown in the middle of. No, just for whatever reason your players decide to personally get involved in these things. You think tribalism isn't part of every sports league in America on social media? Are you mental? Of course it is. Stop it. That's absurd. Indiana Fever head coach was the guest on the December 5th episode of The Bird's Eye View, which is hosted by Sue Bird. White was asked what changes she'd like to see in the WNBA at one point and delivered a poignant message. After speaking about how the WNBA has become mainstream in the past couple of years, quote, some things I'd like to change. I'd like to change the toxicity around our league. I know that's not really a controllable factor. I'd love the fact that the women in our league are always at the forefront of social change, the message. And sports in general is, but women in particular. She just come right out and said, I want our league to be all up in the agenda. I think we want to continue to expand the footprint to look to make sure the season's longer. It's tough with the calendar. It's tough with everything we have to compete against, but these women deserve an opportunity to have this as their only job, number one, and to be able to play a true season, to have an off season so their bodies can recover. And hopefully we won't see the same amount of injury. I mean, it's ridiculous. We want to be able to continue spreading our political agenda, is what she literally just come out and said. You know, there's been a case for me, and it's something Matrix and I have talked about, was should we go back to covering on this channel more things like we used to, where it's like, you know, every sport, basically overflow for the big channel. And maybe some of these WNBA topics. You know, and or maybe even not. And it's her message as to why I ain't going nowhere. No. Well, the sports fans have shown up, and you're not going to make us shut up. You're not going to silence us. You're not going to try to quiet us or censor us or any of that nonsense. It's crazy. This league is wild in how they are so unprofessional in how they handle their actual operations. It's crazy. It's bizarre how things are handled. I'm not shutting up about that. Not a chance. And now that gambling is in the background, I'm certainly not shutting up about it. It's a problem. Plain and simple. I mean, frankly, if the government wasn't so damn busy, I'd be like, maybe you ought to launch an investigation into the WNBA when it comes to gambling and all the romantic relationships among teams where they obviously know what each other are doing on a professional level that affects actual games played, that people are losing their hard-earned money betting on. Oh, I bet I wasn't supposed to bring none of that up. Nah. The WNBA, look, they want the increased salary. They want to increase ratings. They want to increase attendance, but they want you to come in and enjoy their league and shut up. Nah, not a chance. There's a 0% chance of that in the forecast ever. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.